This is a Tiny Theorist's review of the Zpacks Duplex, a 2-person, 3-season, ultralight backpacking tent. I'll talk about construction, size, weatherproofness and ventilation, use in snow, and upgradable options. I've used this tent on countless multi-day trips over the last several years. I've owned 2 versions and still pack one around. I sold my older version to a friend who used it on his through hike of the PCT. I'll include his input in this review as well. The Zpacks Duplex tent is single-wall constructed of a composite fabric made with Dyneema HMPE fiber, and it comes in 6 colors: blue, olive drab, spruce green, burnt orange, dirt, and white. I have an older version here in camouflage, which I liked because it was less transparent than the other colors in this material. A single-walled tent made of ultralight plastic is easy to see through, and the camo pattern helps with this, especially in the lighting of the woods. The strength of the construction and the fabric is high, but it is vulnerable to puncture. I use a ground sheet under mine, which is made of the same material as the tent and has withstood some serious abuse. But I do have a hole in the roof of my tent, which has been repaired with repair tape. To be fair, my brother threw a large rock through it while trying to hang a bear bag. The nice thing was that the hole tore along the grain of the fabric on 2 clean planes and was super easy to repair with repair tape in the field and has remained waterproof ever since. The duplex sets up with your trekking poles or the 4-pole flex system, which is an upgrade I'll talk about in just a moment and would highly recommend. In either system, after placing the poles according to the instructions, the tent is tensioned out with guy lines. This process is much easier with the flex pole system. The floor is waterproof and wraps several inches up the wall of the tent, what's known as a bathtub floor, and its rectangular dimensions are 7.5 feet long by 45 inches wide, a little shy of 4 feet. The triplex tent is the 3-person model, which is 7.5 feet long as well, but gives you a full 5 feet of width for substantially more floor area and not much more weight. That being said, I actually consider this one of the roomier 2-person backpacking tents I've used, and a smaller footprint means there will be more places to pitch your tent. This tent features 2 enormous doors. When sleeping with 2 people, there's no need to crawl over each other to enter and exit. Due to the shape of the door, basically 2 entire walls of the tent completely collapse. The packed size of the tent is 7 inches by 13.5 inches. It is small and light, extremely easy to carry, with options claiming to be as light as 19 ounces. My tent weighs 25.5 ounces, including stakes and carry sack. I'll talk about one of the heavier additional options in just a moment. These are the walls of the tent that are made of the bug netting and provide ventilation. In non-rainy conditions, there is no need to fully pitch the vestibules. I would often pitch them partially for protection against a mild drizzle and wind while still providing adequate ventilation. The tent definitely exhibits the disadvantage of single-walled tents, which is the condensation buildup on the inside of the tent in the morning after a good night's sleep, especially with 2 people in the tent, after the tent has been pitched all night in storm mode to protect us against severe rains. The condensation can get so bad that where the tent slopes downward near your feet, it dampens your sleeping bag and your feet get cold. Ask me how I know. For this reason, I usually loosely drape my rain jacket over the footbox of my sleeping bag when sleeping in the duplex pitched in storm mode. Fortunately, this tent offers many configurations so as to provide as much ventilation, thus reducing condensation, as possible for the conditions. This feeling is somewhat helped by what I'll talk about next, which is a deal breaker. The duplex is sold compatible with a $125 option of flex tent hardware and poles. This transforms the duplex into a freestanding tent that pitches tighter, which increases tent spaciousness and stability and provides more protection from wind and condensation. The carbon fiber poles and carry sack weigh an additional 11 ounces for a combined tent and pole weight of 36.5 ounces, a little over 2 pounds. That is about the lightest possible weight out there for a freestanding 2-person shelter that offers double doors, double vestibules, bug protection, and weather protection. Using the duplex in snow is totally possible, but you'll want to have the flex tent upgrade. My friend I mentioned earlier, who thru-hiked the PCT with the Duplex, sent me a photo of its lacking stability in snow with only the trekking pole tension setup. In heavy snow, the flex pole setup might not do you any good either. But it is a 3-season tent. In conclusion, the Duplex remains one of the 2 tents I routinely grab for backcountry adventures, despite some of its flaws. Its roomy versatility and freestanding option makes it a candidate for almost every trip. It's expensive, at around $700 depending on options, but if weight and full bug and weather protection are important to you, consider it. This is one of the lightest shelters you will come by, and it is especially roomy for one person. But if you don't want to spend that kind of cash, don't worry. There are other suitable, less expensive options out there, which I hope to review in later videos. But that's all for now. Happy trails.